Hi everyone, good morning. So today I'm just going to cover the practical part of the roles as we discussed in last class, right? So we like discussed about the roles, right? We understand where to use role, what is roles, and how to create the rules and allow permissions to any users or group, right? So first of all, to understand the roles, you should know what is the roles. So roles is an identity of AWS, right? You can say IAM identity. So identity, it could be like when you talk about identity, right? So identity means the principal who access the resources. Okay. So there are a couple of the scenario, right? So where you can use the roles. Okay. The first scenario is suppose there is any VM in your account, right? And that VM want to access the S3 bucket database or any other resource, right, in the same account or different account. So how will you provide the access to S3 bucket to access the, sorry, how will you provide the access to your VM on S3 bucket or database, right? So you can use the rules to provide the access in this scenario. Okay. The second example you can take, right? Suppose you have a federated account. Federated means you want to allow all your on-premises users, means domain user, to access your AWS account, right? With the single sign-on, you can take an example, right? So in this scenario, you also use the roles to like leverage them to log into your AWS environment, and you can control the permission through policy. And the third scenario is suppose you have a two examples, so which is we are going to cover today. So I also just draw a picture you can see in my screen, right? So the scenario is suppose you have a two account, one is development, other one is production account, and you want to allow development users to access the S3 bucket in production environment, right? So first of all, you should understand this is the two different account, right? One is development and other one is the production. And when we have a different account, right? So it means we have a different user set, right? A different policy. Different policy means or different users means any user which you have created in development account, that user does not have access in production because it's identity or principal of your development account, and that is completely isolated or separate. Okay, so any users from here cannot access directly to any resources in production environment. Okay, so how it will how will you provide the access to users from development to access the production account S3 bucket, right? So then you have to, as I discussed, right? So then you have to use the roles. Okay. So here, what is the scenario and how will you do this practical? First of all, you have go into the development account, create a users, name any, give any name, right? Suppose you have given a name, Bob. Bob, the users in development account. Then create a group, right? And then give the name of this group dev admin. Okay. Join these users into this group. Okay. Create a policy, allow S3 role in production, and apply this policy to this development account. So what happened? So there is some condition we define. So we'll see what condition we will define. So once you apply this policy to dev admin groups, this group has the privilege according to this policy, right? Whatever you define, this group will have that privilege. And whosoever become member of this group will also get the same policy, right? So this is the first part which you have to complete. And second, you have to copy or you have to write down the account number of development account. Second thing, now let's go into the production environment. In production account, what you have to do, first of all, You can do one thing, just create a bucket named prod test if it is available. If not, then you can create any other, and then create a policy, right? Prod app bucket. In the prod app bucket, you will define to the S3 permission. Means you can mention in the prod app bucket, okay, in this policy, to access of S3 bucket, like allow, read, write, modify, delete, right? So you will have to mention this thing here, and then create a rules S3 cross access or cross account rules. I just defining this A to refer the account, right? Cross account rule. And then what you have to do, you have to apply this policy to this rules. So what happened? You are allowing in this policy to this S3 bucket to access, and then applying this policy to your roles. So what happened? Anyone who join these roles or who connect with this role, right, get the this policy, means get the access of S3 bucket. So this is a very simple, guys. So let's do one thing. Let's do the practical. So I have a two account. So here you can see the name is Kakarla Sunil. That is I'm referring as a development account. And the other one is I'm referring as a Mithlis underscore Singh, which is my name, Mithlis Singh. Okay, so this is my production account. So what you have to go, what you have to do. So first of all, let's go into the development account, and as per the scenario, first you have to create a user and give the name Bob. Okay, let's go into the user column, add a user, give name Bob. Right, that's done. Then allow this user, how this user will log in. So it will log in through AWS console. I just uncheck to like these options, otherwise it will ask to change the password once login. So I do not want to change the password. Next, permission. Do you have any group where you want to like associate this user? I don't have any as of now. So we will create our group accordingly. Tag, it's not required for users. Create the users. So your user is ready. Now let's go into the groups. Create a group. Assign the name dev admin. Go here. Right, policy it's asking. We don't have policy, so let's do next and create group. So my group is ready. Now go into the policy section and create a policy. So Visual Editor, you can add the policy with Visual Editor or JSON. So I already have the policy, so I'll use this policy, right? Okay, so in this policy, what you have to do, so let me copy this policy here. I'll just copy this policy. If you read the policy, it's saying the version effect statement is allow. Action is STS, means secure token service, assume role, resource ARN. It's saying ARN is AWS resource name, AWS IAM, production account ID, means what you have to do. If I go into the picture, so this policy, I will allow this role, right? I will allow this role to switch. Okay, so what you have to do, you have to first create a role into your production account and then copy the ARN and mention this ARN here. So let me do that one first. So I'll go here, create role. So what kinds of role will you create? Select types of trust entity. I'll use another account. So when you select the another account, first of all, you have to provide the account ID. So let's go into the my development account. I'll go into the development account, and then I'll find the account ID of development account. And I hope it's already written. So here is the development account number. Okay. So I am in your production account. You can see the name, you can refer. This is the production. I'll just mention the account number. So what happened, it will establish a trust relationship from production to development account. Next. Policy I have not created yet any, so I'll create later and apply. So let's do one thing. First create the rule. Next review. Assign a name. So what is the name here? S cross A rule. So S3 cross A role created. So the role is created. Now what I have to find, if I go into the policy in the development account, here you see this is the development account. So it's saying to provide the ARN number of production account roles. So roles we have created in production. So let's go into production. This is our roles. Go into the roles, and then you can see first is your ARN number. Just copy from here. Okay. Go in your development account, the policy where you are creating, and just select all this portion and update it. So you can see ARN IAM account number roles. Okay, S3 cross access roles, and then review it and give a name. So the name I have given here is allow S3 role in production. So I'll mention allow S3 roles in prod. Okay, role in prod. So if you see the summary, it's saying STS means secure token service. Create. So what is the purpose of this role, this group policy actually? So where this policy apply, the user from that groups will have access to switch the role. So I just entered like selected this dev admin groups which we have created, and then I'll attach the policy, and I'll go into the policy. I'll first see the policy name. What is allow? So this is our policy we have created. I'll attach this policy. Okay, this policy is already attached here. And then what I have to do, I have to add a user Bob into this group, which I did not do it yet. So I'll go here, select the user Bob, add into the group. So this is very simple. So now from development perspective, what we did till now, we have created a user, we have created a group, we have created a policy, and in the policy we allowed this rule, right? So that we mentioned this rule ARN, so that any user from this group can switch the role, right, to a different account, right, and the role name is this, right? Now let's go into the production one. So in the production one, what you have to do, we already created a role because we had to provide the ARN number. So now it's a time to create a policy and S3 bucket. So let's create the S3 bucket first. Go into your services, select S3, open it. Okay, so open new console. It's okay. So open the S3 bucket console, create S3, name it prod app. Let's see whether it is available or not. No, the name is not available. I'll put some numeric value and it will be available. Okay, bucket name already exists, so I'll create this one. Let's see whether it is available. Yeah. Okay, already I have created two since. Okay, let me do one thing. Let me delete one. So once you are going to delete the bucket, you have to confirm the name first. Okay. So now I have one bucket. This is the bucket name. Okay. So let's go to the next section. Okay. So now roles we have created, bucket we have created. Now we are going to create the policy in production. Okay. So I have a policy, predefined policy, like not predefined policy. This is the policy which we use here. Okay. For production. So let me copy this policy syntax, go into the our production one. So name is Mithlesen. You can see this is my production one. So I have to click on policy and then create policy. Go on JSON, select all, paste it, and here if you see it's saying allow S3 list all bucket, allow list bucket, get location. It's now saying a resource. Which resource we are talking about? It's saying cloud accept. This is the name of S3 bucket, right? So what we have what bucket you have created. So you have to provide your bucket name, the bucket ARN, right? So you can either copy the name only or copy the ARN. How will you copy the ARN? Click on the bucket and you will get the copy bucket ARN. Copy it and go back. When you copy the ARN, you have to select the whole thing and then replace it. Okay, and allow, get, put, delete. And here you have to also update your bucket because the bucket name is different. That's all in this policy, right? So if you see allow list all bucket, allow list bucket, get location, then which bucket we are talking. So it's saying the ARN of our bucket, right? Prod app 111. Okay, get, put, and delete. And this is the resource I said bucket. This is the bucket, and you can access any resources inside the bucket. I mentioned the star sign. So I'll go into this and then see the policy name. I mentioned the policy name is prod app bucket. Okay, it's okay. So I'll mention prod app bucket. Okay, prod app bucket policy. So here you can see summary. It's related to S3 and limitation is list read write. Create it. Okay, the name already exists. Okay, so I mentioned bucket policy. Create now. So creating, yeah, so we have prod app bucket policy. So what you have to do, you have to go back to this screen and see you have to apply this policy to roles. So let's go into the roles, select the roles as we cross a roles. Okay, see in the permission there is no policy applied, so attach, click on attach policy. type the name. Okay, sorry, so name is not like this, it's a prod. Okay, so this is our bucket, attach this bucket. So this is our policy name, so I'll apply this policy to our roles. Okay, so now we have done with this the basic requirement, like to complete users, group, apply policy, create policy, apply in development, create roles, S3 bucket, create policy and apply this policy to the production account. Okay, now let's go back to our development and check the users. User's name is Bob. And now what I have to do, I have to log in with the Bob. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll just go here, log out from my production, and then I'll log in with user Bob account. Okay, so how will you log in? So go here in console, select sign in different user, sign in with different user, provide account name first, and once you provide the account name, it will connect you with the account name. Now you use your username and credential to log in. So you can see, so currently I logged in with the Bob, and this user is belong to my development account, and in the section you can see there is multiple options, and the second last option is switch role, right? So once you click here, you can switch the role. So before switching the role, what you have to do, so you have to you should have the production account number, right, where you will switch. So let me do one thing. I'll click on switch roles, right? It's saying switch roles. I'll click on the switch roles. It's asking about the account number. So since I already have the account number, okay, so give me a minute. Let me see what is the account number of. Okay, so this is the development account number. Since I logged in with this account users, you should understand with the user. This is the development, and this is my production one. So I'll do one thing. I'll mention the role name. So role name is S3 cross A role. I'll mention S3 cross A role, and then I'll switch. Okay. Could not switch roles using the provided information. Please check your settings and try if you continue to have a contact your administrator. Okay. So there is something wrong, I think. Account number is so it's 1462. It's 1462. Okay, this is the development. So guys, let me do one thing. Let me see the number. It's 8368. My production one 8368070. 8368070 98399. 98399. It's okay. So could not switch role using provided information. Please check your settings. Okay. Let me see whether the user Bob is a member of development group or not. So I'm in production one. Go into the groups. So this is a dev admin. User Bob is member of it. and the policy we have applied here. Okay, so let me do one thing. Let me copy the role name. Maybe something is missing into the role name. Switch role. Switch role. I'll put across a role name. And I'll also copy the account number, production account number. This is the production account number. If you remember, we copied it from production, and I'll put the production account number and then try to switch. So the name was, there was some mistake in the name. Okay, now you can see this screen like icon is completely changed. It's in red color. So it's saying logged in as a Bob account is this. This is the development account, and saying it's a role history. It's in as we cross a role into this account. Okay. Okay. So currently active as a S3 role A. It means this user currently logged in as a S3 cross A, which is the production roles, and this user will have access only in production account since it's logged in this role for the S3 bucket. So let's do one thing. Let's go into the S3 and you can find what S3 bucket. So see, we created this S3 bucket into my production account. Okay. So if I go into the development account, go into the S3 bucket here into the development account to cross check, right, whether this particular S3 bucket exists in development account or not. So you can verify this name. So this name is I'm referring to the development. You can see CloudFront Elastic Beanstalk, but in Bob, where Bob is currently, it's in this account and the bucket name is this, right? So it means Bob is in production account. So let's click on this particular bucket name and try to create a folder to verify the permission. I'll mention the Bob name and save it. So it's created. Now it means once Bob switches the role, it has access. So let's do one thing. Let's see whether Bob has access to other resources like EC2 as a cross-role access. No, it does not. Let's do one thing. Let's switch back to Bob. Back to Bob, it means go back to the original account. So once you're back, you can see the roles is in the history. You have to switch, and this is the Bob. Okay, so Bob ideally do not have access in EC2 in its own account. Okay, but let's verify the S3 and see whether it can see the prod 111 or not. First thing, it does not have access, and that bucket is also not visible, right? But once it switch the role, right? Once it switch the role, it will have access. Okay, so that's all, guys, right? So first of all, you have to understand the requirement, right? Create a user group policy, and in the policy you have to mention your production accounts roles ARN. Apply this policy to this group, and then go back to your production, create S3 bucket, mention S3 bucket in the policy, and then apply this policy to S3 and log in with Bob in the console. Any console, you can use Google Chrome, Mozilla, right? And then switch the role and see whether Bob can see this S3 bucket or not. Thanks for watching, guys. So this is that's all for today. Okay, thanks.